Well, folks, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Drake and the Maestro, but unfortunately, it's just the Maestro today. The Drake has decided to go on a vision quest and has been requesting orange juice and toothpaste for some reason. We'll have to figure that out. So we're going to run some previously recorded material and hope to be back next week with almost relevant and almost live. It's my flight handle, the Noble Pigeon.
You know, it's kind of a funny episode since we're welcoming the new military guys on board.
Yeah, that's my what do they call it? Call sign? Noble Pigeon.
Mobile Pigeon. Noble Pigeon.
You don't get to pick your call sign. Noble Pigeon.
No,
that's my call sign.
Noble Pigeon. That is it.
I'll
Negative
take
Ghost Rider to the pattern is full.
Negative
so
Noble Pigeon.
your nephew, my cousin, or no, how is it? It's my nephew,
no,
your
other way
cousin.
around.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't got no nephew. I don't have any nephews. I got a couple of cousins, but I don't have any nephews.
So you know what I'm saying. I have these wise sayings that I've tried to impart.
Oh yeah, you were good. Those wise sayings.
Wise sayings like no good deed goes unpunished, right? Never push a bad position, right? And there's some.
You tell me about how my cousin got sloped.
Yes, he did. He got sloped. He got sloped, and as punishment for a good deed. And didn't know when to stop pushing a bad position. So, So he's hanging out with his.
He didn't learn from my sloping. See?
No, he didn't. And his sloping was very similar. And because yours was in Georgia, he's in Georgia. Different kind of mud, but it's still clay, just different colored. So he's been, I don't know what they call it. I guess a shift, right? It's not a watch per se, but he's hanging out with some guys and, after shift.
Yeah.
And the one guy's with us, hey, can you take me back home? Which probably would be a good idea because, sailors and liquor and things like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Being left to their own
so
devices.
He's like, yeah, sure. And of course, driving the Super Wham 9 off-road truck, the super truck. And the guy's like, hey, can you help my buddy? He needs a ride back from his girlfriend's place. This is where the bells should be going off, right?
Yeah, mine went off as soon as he said that. Like, I don't know, man.
That's right. Warning, danger,
Depends.
Will Robinson.
Where's your
Warning.
buddy? Yeah, exactly.
Right. So they're driving down the road. Oh, he's just over here. He's just up this road, right? And here's this dirt Georgia road.
Yeah, the road. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the drainage. What are they called? The ditches on the other side of the road. Is that drainage ditch? I guess. They're almost ditch. It's just a ditch. They're filled with water up to almost the roadway. Okay.
The ditch. Yeah.
Yeah. So my nephew gets out. It's like walks on it. Oh yeah, it seems pretty solid. Okay. I understand. He's a real tin horn when it comes to off-roading still. But if there's that much standing water and you're walking on
it's
clay,
not good.
And if that clay leaves any kind of a footprint, it's too wet for you to put your vehicle on it.
Oh yeah. I was sinking into the clay I was stuck in.
You can walk on it. It'll leave you footprints. But it's like,
if you leave footprints.
If you're leaving
footprints, it's too wet.
Correct. So and again, we're trying to follow the directions, suggestions we got from some of our female listeners who are saying, have a point, have some lessons, something that people can learn. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to say, okay, so if you're coming up to clay, mud, road, whatever, and you get out and you walk on it and it leaves a footprint, don't.
It's too wet.
Drive on it. Too wet.
Yeah, stop there.
Mm-hmm. Don't. So anyway, it's like, I could walk on it. Be fine with the truck.
Yeah, okay.
I
know all about that.
And they get on there, and
fine.
he says, well, we were doing okay, kind of slipping around a bit, which at what point...
No, we weren't.
There's still a chance for redemption here because you turn on it, and you start driving down it, and you just start like kind of drifting like you're in
Oh yeah, no. When I was
slush.
doing that, so that's what was happening to me. It was like ice. The difference between me and him is he's in a pickup truck. I'm in an 80-foot long semi.
Correct. But for him, his pickup truck with only it's only its four wheels, and it's 7,000 pounds because it's a heavy
Right.
girl.
I was
That's
80.
no Jeep. I know, but is she for people thinking pickup? They're 4,000 pounds. Now this is a heavy girl pickup. This is 7,000 pound pickup, and having a 4x4 or similar weight. I know its peculiarities as far as driving on clay, especially because our farm was clay and all that. So
yeah.
But at that point, so he's telling me, first of all, it's funny because he's like, he gets out to test the road because in his head, he hears his uncle's voice going, "Hey, son,
hey,
you better check that." So, it's like, I calculated the odds that I was making a really bad decision. I went ahead anyway.
Right.
So then he's like, well, we could walk on it. So and I asked him, I said, were you leaving footprints? Yeah, but it wasn't too bad. Like, you're boned. So, but then he gets on it, and it's time doing that slippy slidey thing like you're talking about. And then he says he heard his uncle's voice saying, "Don't push a bad position," because there still would have been time to stop, back up, and say, you know what? You found a way to your girlfriend. You can find a way back to base. Right?
Yeah.
So, but he keeps going. Oh, it's not so bad. Now,
No,
some of
it,
I know I'm laughing because he and I were laughing. If he felt really bad, I would be different. But he was like, when is the appropriate time to use to engage the locking axles? Like, right about now.
When you're sashaying around, that's the time. That's the time to, hey, maybe we should stop and put the lockers on.
His is just a button on the dash, just like mine. Dink, locked.
I know. Dink, locked. Usually you have to come to a stop, though. You can't lock them in motion.
No, his and mine both. Lock on the fly. Lock on the fly.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Fancy.
As long as you're under 25 miles an hour. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you can come to a stop, lock them. I told him, listen, anytime you're leaving solid pavement, lock them up, baby.
Well, no. But yes, but no.
Yeah, well, okay.
We have to... Look, anytime... Because, you're going to give people the wrong idea. Lockers are great if you're leaving for sand or mud or snow. But if you're just going on gravel, you don't need your lockers.
Oh, gravel will be okay. Yeah, gravel will be okay. And you got to be careful. Right. And you want to make sure if you have one of those vehicles that has a mud ruts mode, that has different drive modes, that you engage the mud rut mode. I think I've seen every vehicle I've seen with different driving mode has a mud ruts because
even my Tiguan had a mud ruts.
Yeah, because that turns off the traction control and allows wheel spin and wheel slip, which you need in mud. You need to keep those wheels spinning.
Heck, even my Volvo now has a mud snow mode.
Awesome. So, unfortunately,
in Georgia.
That shimmy shamming sliding back and forth, and it went down towards one of the waterlogged ditches. He went through a big poodle where there was standing water on the clay.
And it hydroplaned. I
don't know if it hydroplaned, but it certainly followed. It followed the contour of it lost any grip it had, and followed the contour of the road, which is crowned towards the ditches, right?
Yeah,
so down he went in, and then this is how we learn. Some people learn the easy way, some people learn the hard way. And
that sounds like my cousin's about to learn the hard way again.
Well, it's his. That's how he does it. We were having a good laugh.
It runs in the family.
It does. I told him, so I wish I knew as much about off-roading as you do. And I said, how do you think I learned?
Yeah, I learned. You know what I learned? I learned through osmosis and watching Matt off-road. Okay, folks, if you want to learn something about off-roading and how not to get into bad situations, watch Matt's off-road recovery on YouTube. Go start watching his off-road recovery videos because he will teach you how to off-road, what to look for, how to identify when you're about to get stuck and how not to get stuck. That's how my situation in Georgia wasn't worse.
Right. Yeah. Because you said, you have to realize when you're done and not try to push it because you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so
all you're going to do is dig yourself a deeper hole.
he's young. He's new to the whole thing. You know.
Well, and I think some of it also is just he's got the super powerful truck, and he's like, this thing can go anywhere.
Well, it could with the right tires. The problem is he's got the street all terrains, you know, that come with from the factory,
right?
And they're good. I mean, it would be a good desert tire. It would probably be really good in sand. I mean, it's not as smooth as a sand tire, but it'd be pretty good, you know. And then he was saying, "Oh, maybe I should have aired down." I'm like, "You didn't even air down, okay?" Because he's got a compressor on board, so he can air down, air back up. I mean, it's, you know. Anyway,
it's nothing.
Anyway, so he's sunk to the axles.
Right, of course.
Of course. Been there.
Done that. Got the drag marks in the mud to prove it.
Oh yeah. And I said, well, you know, you need if you're gonna do clay, you need to have something more like an intercoat tire that has or Patagonia MTs, you know, that have that clearing tread. Tires. Right, a little more paddly, a little more open area, a little more agricultural looking, right?
Yeah.
He goes, the girlfriend's dad came down in like a Pathfinder and had tires like that on and pulled us right out. Oh, there you go, pal.
So, okay, why couldn't the girlfriend's dad drive him back to base?
Thank you. I'm glad you picked that up. All right.
Obviously, he had no problem.
Right. So that's when our my dear nephew heard my voice saying, "No good deed goes unpunished. No good deed goes unpunished."
No.
So there you go. But he had an adventure, and it's certainly better than just sitting at home. But you could be, you know, if we can learn from it and not repeat it, I'm all about it.
Yup. Cousin's an idiot sometimes.
We all are. You know, I was telling him about maybe I should tell the listeners at some point. People want to hear about it. All the crap that I went into when I was younger. Holy crap! You don't acquire knowledge and wisdom from like not being a participant in life. So
no. And sometimes you got to participate.
Right. It was it JFK who said it's better to be in the arena and no defeat than to be in the stands, never knowing victory or defeat. So,
yep.
So the maestro rule is, you're going to learn one way or the other, and just be open to learn from your experiences. No experience is a failure if you learn from it. Right? Yes. Wow. Yep. This podcast is taking a serious tone. I don't know if I can stand it much longer, but
I don't either. Listeners are going to stand it.
I know. So there's our wisdom for today. No, there's no such thing as a bad experience.
There's been a lot of wisdom in this pod.
And we've discussed a lot on the show so far about people.
We're just going to keep packing it in.
Hijinks about different things that happen in customer service, right? But this week, and especially this last month, I've had nothing but the greatest customer service. Like when I get the tires put on, remember that? It was like, "Sir, would you like the?" Yeah, I would. Would you like that? I certainly would. And then they did it.
Would you like our premium package? How did you know?
That's right. So to all those people out there that have heard the podcast and said, "You know what? I'm going to do my job better." Thank you.
Thank you.
Because doing it right is appreciated. It's really appreciated. I complain about it, but when it's done right, it's a treat, and I want to go back and patronize those places. So
when I get good service at a restaurant, I always tip really well, and if I get poor service, I don't tip at all.
Right, it's a communication.
I've thought about writing a negative tip sometimes just to see what happens.
Do you remember the episode from Third Rock on the Sun when Dick goes out he's taking, was it Mary or somebody out on a date, and he's just new to the whole idea of tipping. He says, "Why should it be a mystery?" She's like, "What?" So I got this whole tipping thing figured out. So they sit down at the restaurant, and he pulls out a stack of ones, puts it on the table. And the server's there. It's like, "This is your potential tip. Every time you do something right, I'm going to add to the pile. When you do something wrong, I'm taking some away."
Don't do that, folks. His date is horrified. I would be
And
horrified.
he
I would
gets
just
the
get up and
server
leave.
when he gets the server really nervous because every time he's like She's like, no. I think he ends up wearing his lunch or something like that.
As he should.
Yeah.
Honestly, folks, don't do that to your servers. Be kind to your waitresses. They deserve it. They deal with enough crap in their life as it is. They don't need
Yeah.
yours too.
Yeah.
The
So
waiters and waitresses.
thanks to everyone out there doing it right.
If we're gonna shout out good customer service, I went to the Mexican restaurant called Agave in Rantoul on my way out before I went back on the road, and my service was excellent. I got my food. It was correct. It was fast. I never had to ask for a drink, a refill of any kind. It was just
right.
It was the cup was gone. The cup was brought back with more. That was it.
Well, back over, I don't know, still they still do it, but in places in Europe, like Germany and all that, being a waiter is like it's a profession. It's a trade.
It's a prestigious accomplishment.
They have to go through journeyman, apprenticeship, and all that kind of stuff. And the waiter doesn't even have a little tablet to write your order on. They memorize it.
Just memorize it.
Yeah.
I've met some old school waitresses at a couple of truck stops and some Denny's and stuff that just like, oh, you're gonna write. They don't take out the notepad. I give them my order and it comes back correct, and they memorize it.
That is a dining experience worth having and worth tipping for. No doubt
definitely.
About it. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So, thanks everyone out there doing it right.
Yes.
Definitely. I guess we're not bringing as much funny to this episode as I thought, but you know what? Informative. This will take care of the people that want us to have a point.
Keep bringing your looks into this.
It's all I got.
You bring the funny every time you enter a room.
Right. Hey, you remember you were helping me build a deer blind, right? Remember? Yeah. And so I'm out doing recon to figure out where to put the deer blind, right? And it's devastating because,
this isn't bringing the funny.
I got a lease from the owner, the buyer of the land to hunt there in perpetuity, right? But critical error in the lease. There's nothing in there about the farmer having to preserve the habitat.
That's right. You can hunt there all you want. Does not mean there's going to be a place for you to hunt.
You're going to be standing in mud, but all right. So I get out there.
Knock yourself out.
Right. I had it all picked out of my head. It's the same place that I've hunted for years. Then I had it all picked out. I'm going to put the new blind there that we built. And I get out there to do the recon to get it all set up. And the farmer's torn down all the trees. It's nothing but a mud pit. Yeah. It's like, oh. It's like, well, that's okay.
Oh, come on.
We're on good terms with the neighbors. And or surely since they're retired, they're not hunting it. And it's just adjacent. It's right adjacent to where I used to hunt. So it shouldn't be a big deal. So we called them and asked them if it'd be okay to put a blind there instead. Because it's the same woods. It's just, they're just not.
The other side of it.
Right. Just the other side. And when I was there scouting, the deer watching me. There's deer just standing
having a convention.
Hey, what you doing?
What
taunting.
You doing over by there?
Taunting even. So I get the call back. Sorry, your grandson's hunting that area now. Like, oh.
Wah, wah.
Well, at least at least I know the grandsons, because there were some alternatives I could have used, but if I know someone else is going to be in there hunting, I'm just going to go. We have other parts of the property I'm going to go use. It's just going to be more iffy whether or not I'm going to be in a position to harvest an animal.
Because
I give the cousins, my cousins, dibs on the best spots because I want them to have a good hunt. So it's just me taking the leftovers. And I went out to one of our prime locations, and it's primer than ever. So all the farmers are tearing down the tree lines, and so they're all coming in and hanging out in our 18 acres of woods. And so I go to where one of our tower stands is, and there's deer not just deer sign, there's deer. I go there, and it's like, they're like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, you guys are still here? It's like, oh, yeah, it's a great place. We love hanging out here. See you in a month.
It's to see. No, we won't see you in a month.
Right. It's like, that's exactly right.
Nothing.
They're going to clock out like Bugs Bunny. They're going to clock out and hit somewhere else. I'd like to know where they go. It's like you see them all over the place,
look like and then Hyde Park after Lollapalooza goes through, empty and full of waste.
That's right. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see. If nothing else, I get to sit in the woods for a few days and enjoy nature.
Maybe it'll do you good.
It might come back with a whole new attitude.
Or maybe you won't come back at all.
Speaking of an attitude, you get a call this morning. Well, yeah, as you know, your grandma, my mother, is in assisted living, and let me just say about assisted living.
Did she try escaping again?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was. Can you bring $20 down here for your mother? What?
You're finally getting the reverse phone calls. You used to call your parents for money. Now they're calling you for money.
It was wait a minute, hold on. Like, you can bring $20 down for your mom. Like, what's going on?
What, is she going on a field trip? What?
Well, and she has some, and she's got a credit card. Wouldn't leave her there cashless, but limited amount so that it doesn't get inappropriately apportioned, if you will.
Yeah, strategically acquired and moved to another location.
Yeah. So I mean, she's got her credit card. She can go. She does it. She goes shopping and stuff, and we take her. Going to the dollar stores, and she gets things and whatever. It's not like she's destitute. It's just we try to set things up for success, not failure.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, okay, this is a weird call. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Oh, well, tell me more.
The hairstylist is here, and it's $20 for each resident. I'm like, okay, so aren't you doing the same things you did last time? It's just added onto her bill, and when we pay the bill, which is exorbitant every month, we'll add that on. Oh no, this stylist is a subcontractor, and they want cash. I'm like, well, it's good to want things.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I'm not spending $20 to drive $20 over there. That's just not happening. So you can use Venmo. I'm not using Venmo. I have enough trouble with the Wendy's app. I ain't using Venmo.
Yeah. So Venmo these nuts.
So I said either add it to her bill, which we pay every month, or give me the person's name and address and where to mail the check, and we'll mail a check for $20. So then it was like, oh, geez. Put the phone down, it's like, she finally comes back, gives me the address. I'm just okay. You couldn't let people know ahead of time that this was necessary so we could plan for it, You couldn't do that? No.
I can't believe you've made me do something.
Yeah.
I don't know where that voice came from.
Assisted living is a racket too. You get this closet to live in. It's better than a nursing home, but it's still
not by much.
No, and they make it sound like it's this great. Which it's better, but the biggest qualm I have is the cost. We could rent mom a house for less than we're paying for assisted living, and
but it's all the other stuff that comes with it.
Well, that's what they say, but all that other stuff that quote comes with it. Let's change that. All the other stuff is available at an extra cost. So every time they interact with her, it's an extra cost. Every time they do anything special, extra cost. And then if they have too many interactions, they raise the baseline monthly charge. Oh, you're at a level 3 now. You're level 4 now.
But then they just keep charging you all the extra charges anyway.
Correct.
So then what's the different levels for?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Have one or the other.
That's like me buying the premium subscription on one of my video games, and them going, "Okay, cool, thanks." All right,
and then you want
that? No.
You want no, you don't.
For that.
You have the ability. Oh no, this is what you get. You get the ability to order now extra things that if you hadn't ordered the premium,
things that other people can't buy.
Right.
Oh,
that's right.
I didn't. Oh no, no. You know what? No. Also, no.
No. I would be better. It would be much better if they would have either these are your different levels of care. This is the cost.
It would be cheaper for you.
This is the number of interactions that you could have, and the things that will.
It would be cheaper for you to put grandma on a cruise boat and just send her off.
Well, I couldn't see her as much, but sure.
It'd be cheaper.
The problem is,
but then she comes back with all kinds of stories.
That's true. The only nice thing is, first of all, we tried.
There are people that are of retirement age, like 50, like 55, 65, 75, that go and they've done the math, and it's cheaper to just live on a different cruise ships month after month than to go to a retirement home.
Oh, clearly. Oh, yeah, it would be. Absolutely right. That's
everything's taken care of. You get to travel around the world. You get as much swimming as you can handle. Depending on the cruise ship, there's as much as alcohol as you can drink.
Oh, you're talking me into it here. For me,
there's activities. Oh, please do. I'll come with you. I'll make sure you get to see the ocean personally.
Ooh, I haven't been keel-hauled in a long time. Could be fun. Nice one.
Ooh, the bottom of the boat. Yay!
Hey, where's the glass part? It's supposed to be glass bottom.
Hey, I was supposed to see the Air Force while I was down here.
Oh, look, it's the old Italian Navy.
But yeah, there are people that's what they do. They retire. They basically retire onto a cruise ship. I mean, if you're okay with all the disease, it's fine.
Well, and the fact that you go on this ship as passengers and you leave as cargo.
Right.
That won't help. That won't help. That won't hurt my waistline problem at all.
No. The big buffet? No.
Oh, no problem. I will only eat one meal a day on the Lido deck. Sir, you've been here 4 hours. 4 hours? Oh my goodness! It's time for my mid-buffet break. When's lunch? Right now. Great.
Break's over, Bob.
4 hours of the buffet. Dip in the pool. 4 hours of the buffet. Yeah. Okay. You're sold.
That's a big deal to me. I've sold. Hey, if you go on the Virgin Cruise Lines, there's no kids.
Oh, I don't know. Kids can be fun. Only. Yeah.
No. You want to be stuck on a boat with hundreds of screaming 5-year-olds?
Maybe. We try it once to get back to
you don't. I'm telling you now, you don't, because kids are just nothing but disease factories.
Well, what really
you're going to get off that boat
kids.
with a new strain of the flu.
I'm going to be. They'll nickname me the incubator.
Right. You're going to be patient zero for something.
I know. Well, at least I'll be known for something before I go. He never gets sick, but he always spreads these diseases. I don't know what the problem is. Yeah. Oh, goodness. No, you know what concerns me is that there's like kids running rampant. It means adults are running rampant, meaning that their parents got to the cruise, turned the kids loose, and don't want to be bothered. So the kids are completely off the leash, and the parents are not supervising.
It's up to the cruise staff to wrangle the children.
Right.
Which is what happened. Have you been to a theme park?
No, I avoid them.
Right. Most cruise ships are just theme parks on the ocean. That's why you got to go for the adult-only cruises.
Yes, and go the Alaskan ones where you can go see Alaska.
Right. You can go to those. You could do the heavy metal cruises that they do, which is adults only because of the music.
Yes. Yeah.
You could do the Virgin adults only cruises. You can do all kinds. There's all kinds. There's a whole market for it for people like me that don't want to deal with children.
I'll have to look into that. That could be fun. No, I don't know. I'm too entrenched in my little hamlet here.
In your cave?
In my cave.
You could just entrench yourself into another cave in the cruise boat. Maybe if you're a real good boy, the captain will let you tug the horn.
Set myself up in the forecastle.
All right. The tramp steamer.
That's right. See, brought that right back around.
And that was another episode of Drake and the Maestro. Once again, it's just kind of pre-recorded. We want to thank all of you for stopping by again this week, and hope to see you next week. And when Drake has returned from his Vision Quest, same bad time, same bad channel, and adios.